Hello my lovely friends, it's Margaret and I am here to nerd out about reading. So I was tagged by the lovely Leslie Cardix to do the How I Read book tag, and it sounded like a fun tag for me to do, and I don't do tags that often, mostly because I don't get tagged in them that often, though I have a couple now. I have a couple that are on the backlog, and this one just happens to be the most recent in my mind, so if you have tagged me, I'm getting to it. There's a list. Basically, it is 7 questions plus a tag question about your reading habits, and I am just going to get into it. The first question is, how do you find out about new books to read? Mostly through BookTube at this point in my life. So there are 2 ways that I find out about books. I will either find out about them through the internet, so through BookTube, through Twitter, which is how I found out about like Dread Nation, which is one of my favorite books of the year. If you have not read Dread Nation, you need to read Dread Nation. It's how I found out about Pride by A.B. Boy, which is quite possibly the best Pride and Prejudice retelling I have ever experienced. Or through like just scrolling on my library's Overdrive app, because I listen to a heck a lot of audiobooks, because I can listen to audiobooks while I'm at work and while I'm driving and all of that. So I will go in and I'll just find out what's still available, and from what's there I'll find something that interests me. So either scrolling my library app or through BookTube. Question number 2 is, how did you get into reading? I don't know. All I know is that when I was 3, I asked my mother to teach me how to read and scared the crap out of her, because she had no idea how to teach a child how to read. And she was very, like, she said she freaked out completely because she had no idea how to teach a child to read. I don't ever remember not liking reading. Question number 3, has your taste in books changed as you've gotten older? I'm a lot less, This is going to, this question. So I read a lot more widely now, and when I was growing up, I skipped straight from like middle grade books into the Christian adult section at my library, because my mom didn't want me experiencing some of the stuff that was in the YA books. I would assume, like, my reading level, our library didn't have that great of a YA section anyways. I do remember browsing it for some of them and getting some books from there, but they didn't have a great selection. And so I read a lot of Christian romance. One of my favorite series of all time is still a Christian romance series, and I'm afraid to reread it because I'm afraid that I will dislike it. I've already reread the first book, and there were issues with the first book, but not with the romance. So thank goodness. It was just some of the stuff that the author did for historical accuracy. I have a much harder time finding Christian fiction that I like now. Is pretty much like, I would read anything when I was a teen because I didn't know what a good book was. And it's part of why I don't write Christian fiction personally, just because I feel like for the majority of it, the bar is set very low. Now, there are fantastic writers like Ted Dekker, there's Sarah Ella, there's Nadine Brandes, where like they wrote good, solid, good books that like are a credit to the genre. But a lot of them just like, if you're writing Christian fiction for a Christian audience, why are you getting so preachy on me? Now, some of the books I've read in my church's book club have just been like, this is bad. I could write this better in my sleep. I'm not going to name any, but it's been that way. Question number 4 is, how often do you buy books? As often as I possibly can, which right now is not often enough. 5, how did you get into booktubing? So I started booktubing because I wanted to be doing review videos for my blog. I have since kind of stepped away from the blog to focus on booktube because I enjoy this so much more. Number 6, how do you react when you don't like the ending of a book? I'm going to put up a picture here. It is my reaction to Wuthering Heights. That tells you everything you need to know. There is a book, we call it the book that the book that will not be named on this channel. And if I dislike a book as much as I disliked that book, it is out of my life. It is gone. I get rid of it. I don't keep books that I don't like. Like, I just, no, thank you, goodbye. I don't want to see you. I don't want to talk about you. I don't want to hear about you. Please. Goodbye. Number 7, how often do you take a sneak peek at the end of the book to find out if it will be a happy ending? Never. Never ever. Nope. Because here's the thing about me. I like figuring things out. I'm like floored when I am surprised by books, because it doesn't happen very often, because I spend the entire book trying to figure out what is going to happen. because I would much rather be right than surprised. So I do not sneak a peek at the end of the book most of the time because I don't want to know. I want to figure it out on my own. And if it is an unhappy ending, that is unfortunate and I hate it, but I just kind of go into books with the general assumption that most authors are going to give you a somewhat happy ending because that's just good for business. It just is. Question number 8 is, who are you going to tag? So basically the way I do tagging people is I look at my comments on my last few videos and I see who has been talking with me, who has been interacting with me, and I tag those people. So I think I am going to tag, let's see, I'm going to tag Myn Kobayashi, I'm going to tag Super Pow, I am going to tag kenzieleetea, and I am going to tag Bella from the Bookish Badger. You guys are officially tagged, hurrah! Go ahead and do the tag because I like listening to y'all talk. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I would love to see your lovely face here on a regular basis. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at @thewordnerd, and don't forget that is a 3 in nerd instead of the E. That is it for now, my friends. I will see you later when we will talk about more wordy, nerdy things. Bye!